I did not need to read any book on atheism or secularism or humanism to be an atheist. I still believe that for the Muslims, the Qur'an is the best book that can inspire them to becoming an atheist. Not if they are dullheads, of course, in which case it would be a miracle. But even before discovering what the Qur'an really said, there were some incidents that helped me to become an atheist. My mother used to tell me that Allah knows everything. But when she asked me to pray namaz or salat, to do that I had to utter the verses in Arabic. I was reluctant to do that, for I did not understand the Arabic verses of the Quran. If I was going to pray, I wanted to pray in Bengali. It really angered my mother when I asked very innocently, Mother, if Allah knows everything, then why doesn't Allah know Bengali? Mother was embarrassed and angry with me. I asked some of my relatives and they got angry with me also. One day, as I kept reminding my mother about Allah's ignorance, she replied, if you say anything bad about Allah, your tongue will fall off. I was 8 and had no idea that anyone's tongue could do that. So I went to the bathroom, locked the door, and said, Allah is the son of a bitch. Allah is the son of a dog. Allah is the son of a pig. All the slang we commonly use in Bengali. Then I became worried. Maybe my tongue really would fall off. However, a minute passed, then 2, then 5 minutes, and my tongue was still there. I understand right there and then that I could say anything about Allah and my tongue would stay in my mouth. I understood my mother was wrong. Islam does not consider women to be a separate human being. Man is the original creation, and womankind is created secondarily for the pleasure of men. Islam considers a woman as a slave or sexual object, nothing else. Women's role is to stay at home and to obey her husband. Women are considered weak, so they should be taken care of. Their body and mind, their desire and wishes, their rights and freedom must be controlled by men. Islam treats women intellectually, morally, and physically inferior. In marriage, Islam protects the rights of men and men only. Once the marriage is consummated, women have no rights whatsoever in this field. The Quran gives total freedom to men, saying, your women are as your field. Go unto them as you will. Women are told to run to their husbands wherever they are, whatever they do. It is their duty. The Hadith says that 2 prayers that never reach the heavens are, number 1, those of the escaping slaves, and number 2, those of the reluctant women who frustrate their husbands at night. Islam considers women psychologically inferior. Women's testimony is not allowed in cases of marriage, divorce, and hudud. Hudud are the punishments set by Islamic law for adultery, fornication, adultery against a married person, apostasy, theft, robbery, and so forth. If any woman is raped, she has to produce 4 male witnesses to the court. If she can't, there is no charge against the rapist. In Islamic law, the testimony of 2 women is worth that of 1 man. In the case in which a man suspects his wife of adultery or denies the legitimacy of the offspring, his testimony is worth that of 4 witnesses. A woman does not have the right to charge her husband in a similar manner. Women are not allowed to inherit the property on equal terms with their brothers. In the case of inheritance, Allah says, a male shall inherit twice as much as a female. And after all the rights and freedom, after obtaining all the sexual pleasure and having the pleasure of being the master, men will be rewarded by Allah with wine, food, and 72 virgins in paradise, including their wives they had on earth. And what is the reward for the pious woman? Nothing. Nothing but the same old husband, the same man who caused her suffering while the two were back on the earth. It was easy for me to become an atheist. I was a student of science, so it was hard to accept that the sun moves around the earth and the moon has its own light, and the purpose of mountain is to support the earth so that it will not fall down somewhere. I came to suspect and be sure that the Qur'an was not written by someone who has at all any knowledge of the universe. Not only did I read the Qur'an, I read the Hadith, the words of Muhammad. I found different events of Prophet Muhammad's life in which, when he had problems, Allah was able to solve them right away. For example, when he was sexually aroused after seeing his daughter-in-law, Allah sent him a message saying that he could marry her because his son was adopted and thus not his real son, so that marriage was therefore justified. Further, he created a new rule that Muslims would not be allowed to adopt any children. Muhammad married 13 times, one of his brides being 6 years old, Aisha. Allah, he said, told him that he was allowed to enjoy his wives, his female slaves, and all the captive women he possessed.